So this is my pre-prepared model that has got the answers to the questions that the students have completed, and I'm going to demonstrate a method called Own and Track to help students not just know whether the answer is right or wrong, but to understand why. So question number 1, how many studies were reviewed? 1 mark, and this answer is 19. Now, the students identified how many and realizes the answer needs to be a number, but unfortunately when they've read the text closely and we refer back to our text, we can see that actually 19 is the number of journals and the number of studies is actually 26. So if you've got that answer wrong, put a cross and put the right number 26 next to it, and we'd write a note ourselves to make sure we say read the text carefully. Check back on what you are being asked. So what would have helped this error not to be made in the first place is to underline exactly what it is the question is after. And in this case, we could have underlined studies before we even started reading, and it would have kept us focused. Second question, pupil attainment, pupil self-esteem and increased engagement with what were cited as 3 positive outcomes of self-assessment worth 1 mark. So this student has written learning, especially goal setting, clarifying objectives, taking responsibility for learning and or increased confidence. Well, if we look, it's only worth 1 mark. That's quite a long answer. And go back to the question again. Pupil attainment, self-assessment and increased engagement with what was cited as 3 positive outcomes. So it's one thing we're looking for. Again, if we'd underlined or circled the key word in the question, we would have found actually all we needed in the answer was the word learning. And the indicator that it was a short answer is the fact it's worth 1 mark. And we don't actually need this, and that would have just taken up precious time we don't have in the exam. So the advice to us to get this question done in more time in the future is check the number of marks, because it'll often give you a good indication of how much you need to write. And again, it's about reading the question closely and underlining the key word. Question number 3. The classroom culture has to be right for self-assessment to be of benefit. Teachers need to be committed to what? 2 marks. So let's see what the learners put. Learnings have control of the process and develop effective student feedback. Okay, well, slight error here. They've put learnings when they mean teacher, but let's see if the rest of the answer is right. Having control of the process, yep, and developing student feedback. Yeah, well, that question's actually right. And the fact they've put and in clearly helps us understand they know it's worth 2 marks. And this just looks like a lack of focus for a moment. They mean teacher rather than learning. So again, just make sure we're fully concentrating when writing out our answers and making sure it's tied to the specific of the question. Question number 4. Is it true that students don't need to be aware of the targets they are trying to achieve in order for self-assessment to be effective? And this student has put yes, they think it is true. You don't need to know your target. In fact, we know the answer actually is that's false. You do need to be aware of the targets. Now, probably what's happened here is the question's been read too quickly. They've missed out the important word don't here, and they've just put they've just thought it means, is it true that students need to be aware of the targets? They've misread the question. So again, close attention to question would have helped them get more marks. So in total, this student has got 2 out of the 5 possible marks. And the key things to help them next time are read the question carefully, underline key words, check number of marks. And that would help the student do better next time.